Number 1. Tracey Mertens. In the summer of 1994, 31-year-old Tracey Mertens had broken up with her boyfriend, Joey Cavanagh, with whom she had 2 children. The couple had been in an on-again, off-again relationship since they were teenagers. After the breakup, Mertens stayed with her sister for a short while. According to her sister, during this time, she said she'd left Joey and didn't want him to know where she was. She was acting really strangely. She taped up the letterbox, the glass windows, and the curtains so they wouldn't move. However, the couple got back together, and in November of 1994, they moved from Birmingham to Rochdale, which is about 100 miles north. On December 22nd of the same year, Mertens drove to Birmingham, spending the night with her sister-in-law. The next day, on the 23rd of December, Mertens went to her old home. She had left some of her belongings and a benefits book which she needed to retrieve. Whilst she was at her old residence, there was a knock at the door. When she opened it, she saw 2 black males standing there. They appeared to be in their early 30s, overweight, wearing brown leather baseball hats and black leather coats. They demanded to know, "Where's Joey?" They then proceeded to grab, blindfold, and throw Mertens in the back of a yellow Mark II Ford Escort, which was parked outside the house. The car had a silver panel and a cuddly toy stuck on the back window. Tracey Mertens was then driven about 60 miles to North Eton, Cheshire. When they got there, they stopped at Christ Church. It was on the church grounds that the men proceeded to douse Mertens in gasoline before setting her alight. That evening, she was found by a passerby who had heard her screams. By this point, the attackers had fled the scene. Mertens was taken to hospital. She had suffered burns to 90 to 95% of her body. It was at the hospital that she recounted what had happened to the police and gave profiles of her attackers. They spoke with Birmingham accents. However, they are also believed to have spoken a Jamaican dialect. Mertens survived for only 12 hours after the attack. Unfortunately, she succumbed to her burns and died in the early hours of Christmas Eve, 1994. During police interviews, Tracey Mertens' long-term boyfriend, Joey Cavanagh, was interviewed. He admitted that he was a drug user who also owed money to drug dealers. However, he denied that he was the cause of his girlfriend's murder. A couple of weeks prior to the attack, someone had broken into the couple's old home and smeared the word "death" on one of the windows. It is believed that this incident was linked to the murder. Apparently, there was a witness walking by during the time of the abduction, but the police were unable to track him down. In 1995, a Birmingham man was charged with conspiracy to commit murder. However, the case was dropped due to lack of evidence. The police have not been able to find much information on the case, apart from what they were told by Mertens before her death. Police, however, had a fresh lead when a couple came forward claiming they had received a phone call from an unknown person stating that if they did not pay, they would get what Tracey Mertens got. The police seemed to believe Mertens was killed due to the drug money Joey Cavanagh owed. In 2009, Cheshire Police reopened the case after they were able to get a DNA profile of the suspect through advancement in forensics. The two men have never been found, but Cheshire Police are still searching for Tracey Mertens' attackers. There is a £30,000 reward for information leading to a conviction. Number 2. Barry Robbery. In 2010 in Bristol, on Wednesday the 28th of April, 68-year-old Barry George Rubery, a retired civil engineer and farm labourer, attended a Masonic dinner. Later on that evening, at around 10:45 p.m, Rubery was dropped home by his friends. The following morning, the father of two was found by a neighbour. His clothes had been ripped and he was lying face down in a pool of his own blood. It is believed that his attackers may have been waiting for him to return home, and that they then attacked him on a path outside his home. The attackers then proceeded to drag the elderly man into his conservatory. The father of two had his hands tied behind his back with a metal wire and electrical flex. His ankles had also been bound with plastic cables. After he had been bound, Rubery was beaten to death. He sustained serious head injuries and bruising to his face, as well as defensive wounds, which suggest he put up a fight. The forensic investigators searched every inch of the man's Iron Acton home, and detectives discovered that Rubery's Masonic pocket watch, an old Makita drill, keys, and a Nokia 3310 mobile phone had been stolen from the home. It has also been speculated that Barry Rubery may have disturbed a robbery taking place when he arrived home from the dinner. In 2014, two men aged 19 and 30 were arrested in Bristol and Peterborough in suspicion of the murder. However, both were later released on bail, and nothing further became of these arrests. There was even a £10,000 reward offered for a solid lead. Although there were many phone calls, they did not lead to much. Police in Avon and Somerset are still appealing for anyone with any information regarding the murder or the stolen items to come forward. The true motive for the attack is still unclear. Number 3. William Billy Sibbald. In 2002, on Tuesday 8th of October, 48-year-old father of three, William Billy Sibbald, was getting ready to go out for dinner with his wife, Julie Sibbald. The couple ran the Pop Inn at Portobello, a pub in Edinburgh. However, Billy Sibbald received a brief phone call, after which he stated that an unexpected business meeting had come up, which he had to attend to. A short while later, at around 8 p.m, a car pulled up outside of the Sibbald home with men Mrs. Sibbald did not recognise. What Julie Sibbald did not know, as her husband left, was that it would be the last time she would see him alive. Billy Sibbald went missing that night, and his body was not found until 3 months later. On January 10th, 2003, Sibbald's badly decomposing body was found near an embankment between New Craig Hill Road and Whitehill Road. His body was covered in stab wounds. It is believed that the pub owner was murdered in the immediate hours after his disappearance, and that his body was then dumped in East Lothian, where it remained undiscovered for the next 3 months. About 6 weeks before his disappearance, William Sibbald had told his older sister, Lorraine Sim, that he did not worry about dying, because that meant he would be reunited with their other siblings who had passed away tragically young. Sim did not think anything of her brother's comments, but looking back, perhaps he had been threatened. It was claimed that perhaps Sibbald had gotten involved with Russian gangsters, or that possibly a late Glasgow crime kingpin ordered the killing after a £10,000 drug deal went wrong. These claims were strongly opposed by Julie Sibbald, who insisted that her husband was a good-natured guy who was not involved in any underworld activity. The police have stated that a number of William Sibbald's clothing items, jewellery, and a distinct lighter have never been recovered. The police believe that someone in the local community knows something, and if they do, they are urged to come forward with any information that they may have. To this day, no one has ever been arrested due to a lack of evidence. Hello everyone, SinisterShaf here. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe if you have not done so already. Also, if you can, share this video with your friends. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Links are in the description box below. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay sinister.